Great chapter 13 is probably one of my favorites so far in the Book of Mormon. And the reason being is because it's like a great history of the children of Israel, or the house of Israel, from the time of Christ. So obviously Christ comes, he establishes his gospel, and gives his testimony to the apostles. And then something happens. The apostles are killed, and the gospel is slowly eroded because man gets involved, and of course Satan doesn't want anybody to have those plain and precious truths of the gospel. And then it says in verse 29 that Satan hath great power over them, talking about the children of men, and many do stumble because the plain and precious things are taken away from the gospel. But then it says in verse 32 that the Lord will not suffer that the Gentiles shall forever remain in that awful state of blindness. So, the Lord planned for this. He saw that Satan was going to cause that all his gospel, or parts of his gospel, are going to be taken away. And so, the Lord's plan starts, 600 or more years before Satan has that opportunity, because he starts with Nephi. And his purpose with Nephi and his seed is manyfold, but one of the purposes is so that he can introduce his gospel to them. And he tells him, I will manifest myself unto thy seed, that they shall write many things which I shall minister unto them, which shall be plain and precious. So he's going to restore those plain and precious things by visiting Nephi's seed in the Americas, and he's going to teach them all the plain and precious truths, for this whole purpose being that in our day, he would bring forth that Book of Mormon once again, and we would have it. And then towards the end of the chapter, it says that the Bible will establish the words of the Book of Mormon, and the Book of Mormon will establish the words of the Bible. And so in other words, it's like not only are the plain and precious truths restored, just bare minimum restored, but they kind of bolster each other and become even stronger. The Lord has all things in his control. If we just trust him, he's got it under control, and Satan has no power. He's a short-term thinker, and the Lord is an eternal thinker. So, of course, the Lord's got a one-up on him. So Satan may have power to bruise the Lord's heel, but the Lord has the power to crush his head. When you stomp on a serpent's head, you might hurt your foot, but that serpent's dead, is essentially the way you look at it.